No, Frieza, now you're in danger of just losing. Hey guys, MasakoX here. With the stalwart what-ifs being tended to as of late, I thought it might be time to come back to a story which has had a bit of a mishmash when it comes to releases. Between parts 1 and 2, this had a very long gap because I wasn't too sure of where it could go. That happens a lot with these stories. Solid starts, but then things get hazy due to various factors. However, with the third part of this tome, I feel that I've gotten a good groove for this story, about one of those questions that people have asked about for ages, not just with me, and something that logically should have happened based on the parameters laid out by the show itself, the show creators, about how to go Super Saiyan. How come Gohan didn't do it on Namek? Well, we upped that a fair bit by supposing why he didn't do it back on Earth during the Saiyan saga. I mean, quite frankly, Goku Jr. was weaker than Gohan at the point, so what if Gohan did reach it when he was barely out of pull-ups? Gohan's rage boosts are something that made him quite the interesting fighter/character, and arguably saved the Z fighters when Raditz was bearing down upon them. His space armor was no match for the first rage boost that Gohan had, that is if you don't count the first movie. From there, Gohan slowly gained control of his boosts in power, channeling them into things that were pretty useful, albeit they didn't last long, and often left Gohan vulnerable to then being surprise attacked or dominated shortly afterwards. Usually these boosts were meant to disrupt the flow and allow other people to get in more enduring strikes, but with these rage boosts becoming the ultimate boost, Super Saiyan, Gohan's efficacy could be much higher. Not only that, but it greatly curtailed the Saiyan saga for better or worse. In the last part, Vegeta's hasty truce was going well, and the team had headed to Namek, and he even managed to get a head start with his relationship with Bulma, leaving Yamcha out in the cold, as is always the case. And in the next dimension, poor guy. However, it meant that with Krillin and Vegeta saving Dende from doom, Dodoria was out much sooner than before, and Zarbon had to go and do the heavy work instead, and failed, but only just. However, this does mean Vegeta is one Zenkai boost down for now. As for Goku and Gohan, training was going on in the intense gravity section of the ship, which was approaching 100 times Earth gravity. Now, I asked you guys in a poll last time about whether Gohan would be able to access Super Saiyan whilst on the ship, and with about 7 out of 10 of you voting for the top answer, it was a pretty foregone conclusion. Just under 70% of you voted that Gohan would be able to tap into Super Saiyan once more, but with difficulty. Thank you. Let's see where this goes. The story continues on the ship, with Gohan eventually unlocking the Super Saiyan power for the second time. It takes a while. Goku is amazed to see this power in the flesh, and is congratulating Gohan for his ability, but the child is really struggling to keep it together, but is doing his best so as to not let his dad down after failing to do so for the last couple of days. However, once he reaches this power, he can feel his mind going, but also his movements are much easier in this higher gravity. There's that kind of trade-off. The 50 times multiplier has meant that he can now move like it was just 2 times Earth gravity. Not bad. With Goku going Kaioken times 20, the training begins, and it's getting pretty intense, with the interior of the ship getting pounded really hard. It's a good thing that Dr. Briefs anticipated this happening. Once Gohan has been able to stay in Super Saiyan for about an hour or so, the child then collapses, but his father is relieved. That was the hardest part. Now, can he reach this power too? Back on Namek, Zarbon has been bested and Vegeta has returned to the Earth base, where Bulma, Krillin and Dende are residing. Vegeta decides to strut in and confirm what Krillin had sensed, that Zarbon was taken care of. Bulma voices her approval and gives Vegeta the thumbs up before turning matters onto stopping Frieza from getting the last of the Dragon Balls. Dende mentions that one of the balls is in the possession of the Namekian Grand Elder Guru. Bulma then looks at the radar. She can see that the clutch of 5 balls is where Frieza's ship must be. But there's one ball unaccounted for, and that's one that Krillin should go and get. Dende supposes that Krillin might be better suited to diplomatic missions, given that Vegeta is wearing Saiyan armor, pretty much the same kind that the Frieza soldiers are wearing, and yeah, that might make getting this Dragon Ball a little difficult. Vegeta will go to Guru's tower with Dende, helping in case the prince puts his foot in it with Guru, which Bulma seems to think that he will do oh so masterfully. As for Frieza, as far as he's concerned, things are going rather well. He has 5 of these wish-granting orbs already, 2 are in his grasp, and Vegeta has decided to show his colours, and that Saiyan pest he had been dealing with can finally be put to rest. All he has to do is wait for Zarbon to return with the good news, and he would be laughing all the way to immortality. Then nobody would be able to stop him. I mean, not that anyone has been able to as of yet, but it's nice to have the definite assurance all the same. However, it's been about an hour or 2 since Zarbon last reported that he had found Vegeta and commenced the beatdown. Surely Vegeta wasn't this much of a trouble? The tyrant then decides to check his scouter and looks for the signs of Zarbon's own device, and finds it in the same place as it was before, as if he hadn't moved. What does the scouter say about his power level? It's less than nothing! What? Nothing? Shouts Frieza. This could only mean one thing. Vegeta is still at large, and now he has no strong minions at his disposal right now. Oh, so annoying. He calls upon Central Command of the Frieza Force and instructs that the Ginyu Force be sent to Namek right away for cleanup detail. Things are okay still, but insurance never hurt anyone. Well, it never hurt him at least. Vegeta is flying with Dende towards Guru's tower, and is chuckling to himself that this is going far too well. All he has to do is get these last 2 balls, somehow grab Frieza's stash, and then hope that that brat doesn't show up, and then he too could become a Super Saiyan, and then he would never, ever have to stoop to anyone ever again, especially a little kid. Oh, Vegeta, little do you know that Zeno is a thing. They land at the tower, and with Dende's presence there, he is able to smooth things over with Nail, given that Vegeta looks pretty much like a Frieza Force soldier, and Guru allows them in. Dende then explains the situation with Vegeta looking pretty bored, just, not doing anything. There's the Dragon Ball just resting atop of this chubby Namekian's chair, and all they're doing is just jabbering on about stuff. He is just tuning out the prattle about the danger to Namek before the Elder turns the focus onto the Saiyan.
Saiyan, I can sense conflicting emotions within you. You are struggling with something. Would you care to share? I guess that you're feeling isolated right now.
Vegeta is surprised and sort of unnerved.
Can this being read minds or something?
Vegeta tries to brush this off by saying that he's just keen to stop Frieza after a change of heart, but both Nail and Guru can tell that this isn't the truthful answer. When the conversation then turns to the Dragon Balls, finally, Vegeta is handed the ball, but before they leave, Dende is granted the chance to have his potential unlocked because Guru doesn't have much time. He is gifted with the power to heal people. When Vegeta asks about having his potential unlocked for being such a good boy, Guru calmly declines.
Until you figure out your intentions, Saiyan, I am not sure whether to trust you. Therefore, I feel that you don't deserve this power.
Vegeta is angered and threatens to blow up the tower along with the old man, but then Nail steps in. Him, remember, still a tad stronger than the prince at this point, and thusly proving effective at stopping him.
If you destroy Guru, then the balls will turn to stone. Then nobody can wish for anything, and our planet may be doomed.
Vegeta is still angry, but relents. Guru, throughout all of this, remained composed.
As I suspected. Go, Saiyan, and maybe once this is all over, I might reconsider.
Dende is very nervous right now. He got a power and Vegeta didn't. This may scupper plans, but for now, they have a ball that Frieza doesn't have. That's the main thing. And as for Krillin, he was quite successful in getting the village Dragon Ball. You know, the village that Vegeta originally decimated in the main official timeline. The both of them then converge, reporting that Guru gave Dende a power-up, but not Vegeta. Krillin immediately feels apprehensive too, but chooses not to pry. The only thing that is keeping Vegeta from taking his anger out on them and everyone else in the main group is that they have the 2 Dragon Balls, and they can perhaps steal the others if the timing is right? The ship that Gohan and Goku are on is fast approaching Namek, and both father and son have managed to control Gohan's Super Saiyan power to the point where he can just about call upon it, albeit with much concentration. You can't just go boop into it yet. It's not like he can use it on the fly or anything, but it's something, a way for him to control his rage boosts and use them properly in battle. Now it's time to talk about power levels. Usually Goku gets a 9 times boost in his power during this point, the 6 days of gravity training, and he went up to 90,000 in the main story. Gohan's power level was originally about 1500 before they left, when he and Goku left for Namek, and after all of this training, I feel that he may have gotten a multiplier about the same, only because of the Super Saiyan perk. If he hadn't got Super Saiyan, like if he had voted for it, I suspect it might have just been 6 times multiplied, given that he's only a kid. This means Gohan's base power now is 13,500, whereas Goku's has increased to 110,000 after getting exposure to the Super Saiyan power, which is a whole other level of ki and training. It also increased his ability to sense energy, meaning that as Namek approached, he could directly sense Frieza's energy, and it was pretty big. But Kaioken should do the trick though at this point. Maybe they don't need Gohan's power to save the day after all. Now speaking of power, Vegeta is planning a dangerous game. With his allegiance to the Earthlings, the original base Bulma made has not been abandoned, and it means that they can just bury the balls in the cave underground until they need them. With this greater trust, this means that once they get the others, the wish can be granted immediately. There's not much time though before the kid arrives, so if Vegeta wants what he wants, he's got to act fast. Vegeta tells the others that he's just going to scout out Frieza's ship, not invade it yet, to see what's going on. With this cover story, Vegeta has the intentions to do the latter. Knowing this ship inside and out, he is able to skulk about it quite efficiently and control his power level enough so that he doesn't seem out of place with the rest of the soldiers. Frieza is busy up top the ship, waiting for the Ginyu Force to arrive, as well as take in the planet's scenery and the view. Perhaps this planet may be useful as another notch in his galactic belt. It's certainly prettier than some of the planets he already owns. Then suddenly, an explosion comes from one side of the ship. Frieza's pod is rocked a little bit, and he's in a daze, trying to find out what happened. Then another explosion happens. More rocking goes on. Vegeta is running around the ship, blasting holes in every direction, causing as much of a distraction as possible. When he gets to Frieza's quarters, he is then met by the 5 balls and no Frieza. He wastes no time in blasting a hole in the massive window, like in the original, and just simply chucking the Dragon Balls out there as fast as possible, before finding a place to hide within the ship, to see where the search party, the inevitable one, would go. Frieza returns to his room and is met with an empty den. He shrieks in fury, and several guards arrive, with one getting a potshot in the face from his boss out of just pure frustration. Balls! Get them! Now! The group immediately scatter and go off in all directions that the window can see. Good. Vegeta can just go around them and pick them off one by one. He's not in the firing line. Back in the hideout though, Krillin senses huge power fluctuations and puts 2 and 2 together. Something must have gone wrong with Vegeta's plan. He better go and help. Dende then tells him to wait. He isn't strong enough to help, efficiently. Go to Guru first, and he might have a chance to save Vegeta. Oh dear. They think the prince is in trouble. Far from it. Vegeta has been busy taking out the search party in quick succession, and is pleased to find that the balls have landed in roughly the same place. Now all he has to do is get them back to the hideout, and all will be well for him, getting what he wants. Come on Gohan, hurry! because that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. Oh! So what do you guys think? Is Vegeta going to get what he wants? Will Goku and Gohan be able to face off against a potential Super Saiyan Vegeta? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!